All right, everyone, we have a Kamala double header today. Yes, indeed. First, we've got a supposed leak of internal communications involving somebody in the White House, claiming that Joe Biden effectively said the election is dead and buried. Proceeds to complain about Kamala Harris not really understanding what she's doing. This is believable. And then called her an innate sucker, actually. I believe the claim. We don't have any corroboration of this. We don't know exactly who was in this conversation. It could be entirely fabricated, so big grain of salt mode here. But it is believable that Biden would gripe about that, considering the fact that he was effectively stabbed in the back by his own party, and now he's watching someone who's clearly unqualified to run a basic bitch campaign that should be easy to win, because supposedly she's running against someone who's literally Hitler. It's not that he likes Hitler, or he's kind of like Hitler. Now he is Hitler. He's literally the reincarnated ghost of Adolf himself. This is the new claim from the legacy media. I thought a few weeks ago he was super Hitler. He was Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini all rolled up into one, so they've downgraded him again from a Cat 5 to a Cat 4, I suppose. So that claim is reasonably believable. And then there's the derp moment. She decided to go get a beer with Gretchen Whitmer. It's funny because at the start of this clip, link in the description, it's just a video clip, so not archived, it is remarked, well, aren't you more of a wine drinker? Oh boy. Yeah, she is, quite clearly. Although I don't really think Kamala cares what kind of alcohol she slams into her liver. She clearly has a drug problem. She does use cocaine. We know this. It's quite clear. That little white bag was probably not Hunter's. It's probably Kamala Harris's. I wonder why they wouldn't release a final report on whose baggie it probably was. Oh yeah, the vice president is snorting rails in the White House. Ta-da! Yeah, that would have gone over really, really well, especially for her election bid, which they presumed was probably coming at the time. I think they were waiting in the wings to throw Biden under the bus at any given moment. They were waiting with bated breath with regards to the debate. If he had done a reasonably coherent job, he'd be the candidate right now, and he'd be doing better than Kamala is, by the way. Then you have the derp moment. It's a double derp. First she says, oh, I'll have what she's having. Hee. She does the cackle thing with Gretchen Whitmer. So two older ladies going out and trying to be fresh and hip and young and appeal to the young male vote. Her way of doing this is to, look, I'm drinking beer. It's like Elizabeth Warren with her cheap Rolling Rock bullshit that one time. It's like, she drinks $100 a bottle Chardonnay. She does not routinely drink beer. So when she randomly decides, I think I'm going to grab a beer. Here's my hubby. At least, she actually drank a little bit. Kamala gets her beer. She takes one little sip, puts it down. She probably didn't even finish the rest of the beer. She's more of a wine and champagne person, if I had to guess. Although I can imagine there's some bourbon there occasionally. Maybe some vodka, maybe imported from Russia or Ukraine. You never know. And some vodka, schnapps. I can imagine her mainly being wino and schnapps and maybe gin or something like that. Like she just, she staggers around the White House. Maybe the poop that they found in the hallway, it wasn't all challengers. Maybe some of it was Kamala. She's like, she couldn't get to one of the 20 bathrooms in the White House, so, she just squatted in the alley like it was the French Revolutionary period. By the way, apparently that big-ass palace they built, yeah, it didn't have any bathrooms. People would just poop in the hallways and on the stairs, and then they had people dedicated to come and clean up the copro, so to speak. Interesting. Seems to be the case in the White House these days with the various animals that inhabit it, some of which walk on two legs. So she's attempting to drink beer, and I guess the idea is like young males are going to be there, and they're going to see that and say, wow, man, she's cool. This chick likes the brewskis as much as I do, man. All of a sudden, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. Fuck, literally every issue under the sun. She drank a beer. And Trump is a teetotaler, so I guess, the idea is alcoholism is cool or something like that. And Kamala is an alcoholic. We know this. She's also a coke fiend. Because multiple times she's come out and quite clearly been blitzed out of her mind. We must be unburdened by what has been, and she'll meander off, and it's not entirely clear always what she's trying to say. Like, even when she's scripted, sometimes it's hard to follow her. I mean, Joe Biden sometimes is more coherent. And it reminded me of several other instances, by the way, during the Kamala campaign. You remember that time that she was talking to the mostly black audience? I think that was in Atlanta, if I remember correctly. And she starts doing the y'all, like she's going to drag out a box full of fried crayfish, crawdaddies. I'm going to get some of them crawdads up in there. Now I got hot sauce in my handbag. These politicians do this on a regular basis. Like if Elizabeth Warren had accompanied Joe Biden to the Indian reservation, you can be assured she would have feathers in her hair or something like that. Hillary's done it. Kamala's done it. And the problem is that they're trying to do the id poll, I'm relatable to you thing. But because they're not relatable, and it's not like Trump. Mitt Romney did this too, you know, like when he was like, who let the dogs out? And he's talking about people's fancy ponchos that are like fucking $10, $5 at the fucking store. And he's trying to be relatable. I mean, it doesn't come off very well because it's like, okay, you have $100 million in holdings. You're a vulture capitalist, which means corporatist, of course. Your entire, you know, job resume is basically, I bought up this failing store, rebranded it, slapped a coat of paint on it, and sold it for 10 times as much. That was how Mitt Romney made his money. He's a used car salesman on steroids. You've got a car elevator. Your home, you know, some of the bedrooms in it are probably like 5 times the size of my bedroom, with vaulted ceilings and everything else, and gold and stuff like that. And you're trying to be relatable. I'm a man of the people. I just happen to be able to buy and sell most people. That's basically the MO. Hillary's hot sauce in the handbag moment, Joe Biden, you ain't black, Elizabeth Warren trying to convince us that she drinks piss beer, and now Kamala Harris trying to do the relatable thing. So if she's in front of a black crowd, she's black, and she's from the Bronx or something like that, and she lapses into Ebonics, and you can imagine her saying, I do show I love some fried chicken. Like, hey, I'm cleaning off the collards in the fucking bathtub, and stuff like that. I love me some okra. I love me some Aunt Jemima on my flapjacks, and stuff like that. Then she goes in front of a group of people that's ostensibly mostly younger males at the hipster bar. And all of a sudden, around her rich friends, she's tippling back the $50 glass champagne. Now she just wants a brewski. And it was made locally in Kalamazoo, says Gretchen Whitmer, as though that literally matters at all. It's alcohol, dude. Yeah, some beers taste better than others. I'm surprised she didn't say, I'll take a Bud Light or something like that. Just really cringy. She's the cringe master. She's a middle-aged woman, well, a little bit over middle-aged now. She's 60. Not elderly, but, you know, she's in that spot. She's getting up in years. And she's trying to be like the hip wine aunt or something like that. And it just doesn't come off very well. Nobody thinks you're cool, Kamala. You're the most cringy person who's run for office since Jeb Bush. You're basically in the same socioeconomic rung as well. Find it funny. She'd be imbibing a mind-altering substance when, you know, her MO as prosecutor there, as head attorney, as the attorney general in California, was putting young black men in prison for extended periods because they had a dime bag. Yeah, you're really hip. By the way, she's embraced the marijuana issue semi-belatedly because I believe that Trump came out in favor of recreational marijuana many months before she did, actually, during this campaign. And had spoken of it casually for years in the past as well. Rescheduling, testing, and medical pot and stuff like that, dispensaries, allowing the states to shape their own laws. A 10th Amendment issue, which I agree with. Kamala would want a federal cut of that revenue, I guarantee it. She'd be dipping into your dime bag. Hey, you know, this slice used to cost like $30. Why is it $35 now? It's not even the inflation. Well, it's because the government's taxing it, probably. They'll do the same exact thing that they do to every other substance that they deign to maintain legality for. And Kamala's on board with that. I guarantee she probably drank half the beer, left the rest. Somebody else probably drank the rest of it up from under her. And then she went back home, where she gets into her limo or the plane or whatever. She immediately grabs a bottle of champagne. Or Chardonnay or something like that. Maybe she does box wine. We know Elizabeth Warren is not below that. She'll go low shelf. She doesn't give a goddamn fuck as long as there's alcohol in it. Kamala seems to be about the same. An innate sucker. That's about all. Peace out.